Okay, so now we finally get to start sewing. Oh my goodness, I feel like I was interfacing my pieces for about 100 years. Um, okay, this is definitely, I would say, the pattern with the most pieces that I have ever done. I think along with like the Tammy hoodie from New Horizons or things like that. But there are so many pieces of interfacing and all that stuff with this pattern. But I'm really excited. I think it's going to be really cute. Okay, so the first step is to do the darts on, what is it, on the front coat. So you have already attached your interfacing to the front coat piece. And then you see on the pattern piece here, it has where the dart should end, and then it has the other side of the dart. So what I like to do is just mark that with pins. So I'm going to connect these two pins right here and then have this be the other end of it. So then I'm just going to sew from right here in a straight line over to the end of this pin, which is where the end of the dart would be. You'll notice in the pattern there's little dots for each size, and I'm doing a size 10. So this is where the size 10 dot would be. So I'm going to do a triple straight stitch connecting these pins on both of the front coat pieces. Then I'm going to cut it open since it is a little bit thick. Cut it open and then press it flat. So go ahead and do that. That's our first step. All right, so now we have our darts completed. Mine looks like this. See, I cut it open. I couldn't get my scissors all the way down. I don't have any of my tiny scissors here. So I just cut it down as far as I could, and then I pressed it open, and it lays nice and flat. And that's what it looks like from the front. Looking good. Okay, so the next step is to be working on the pockets. So I'm doing view B, and view B, you have to cut 4 of the pockets, and yeah, okay. So what you're gonna do now is get your pocket and your side panel, and then also the front panel that you already put the dart into, and you're going to line up this way. You're going to line up the notches. Let's see if I can do that. So see the notches on the pocket and the notches on the side panel? You're going to line those up, but they're going to be overlapping on the actual garment. So let me show you here. So this is the right sides together. The right side of I think this is Power Dry, I think so. The right side of the Power Dry is going to be the flatter side. The side that has the grid on it is going to go against your skin. So you take the flatter side of the Power Dryer lining fabric and then put it right sides together with the side panel. And you'll see it has this cutout. That's where you're going to line it up. So you'll line it up right there and then pin it on there with the pocket facing down so your hand can go in it this way. And then you're going to sew that on. So you're going to do that with both of the side panel pieces. And then you're also going to do that with the pieces that we put the darts in the front. You can kind of see like that. So go ahead and sew all 4 of those seams. Okay, so now we have the pockets attached to the pieces. So now we're going to press the, my goodness, we're going to press the seam allowance towards the pocket, and then we're going to top stitch it. So press it towards the pocket, and then on this side, you're going to top stitch it on the pocket side. And you're going to do that for all 4 pieces. So again, press it towards the pocket and then top stitch it. Just like that. So go ahead and do that on all 4 pieces. All right, now our pockets are all top stitched. You can see, wow, my line is very straight. And so now we are going to connect the side panel piece to that front piece. So you're going to lay right sides together, the side panel piece with the front piece, and then align the pockets and match up the notches. So on the bottom you have notches probably, on mine it's about 2 inches up, there's a notch. It's really, really important in this pattern especially to be marking your notches. I am notorious for forgetting, but this time I was very diligent and made sure that I marked them all. So go ahead and pin up the side. We have one pin right here, and I'm just gonna pin up the side. You can, oops, sorry. Pin up the side, matching the side seams. And then this corner, which goes into the pocket. And then you're going to match the pockets. And just pin all the way around. And then once you get up to the top, you're gonna work yourself all the way around the pocket. And then go up the side. And put another pin in the corner right here. And you're going to be sewing this just in one seam, up the bottom and then around the pocket, then up the side. And then the final notch at the top is where the side seam ends. So you can see this right here. And so then you're just going to pin those ones too. So you're going to be doing this for both of the sides. You're going to be doing this for both of the sides with the front pieces. So go ahead and pin the whole thing, and then you could sew it. And then in these corners right here, we're just going to clip a little knot. Okay, so now we have the pocket and the side seam and the front all connected. You'll see that it ends right here at the top, and then that last carrot notch, the last notch is right at the bust dart. So from the front it looks like this. So it'll be like this. Okay, so now that we have the pocket attached, we're going to clip these little corners. Don't clip through the seam line on both of the sides. So you can go ahead and do that now. Make sure you don't clip through your seams though, then it will all come apart. Okay, so now we are going to attach the side panel to the back piece. So the back piece has interfacing on the very top, and then it has interfacing for the hem. You're going to take your side panel piece with right sides together and just pin it all the way down, matching up the notches. So now we have the front connected to the back. Look at that, it's gonna be so pretty. And then this is what the inside looks like. So now you're going to take all of these seams and just press them open with your iron. And then the next step is to do 2 bar tacks at the bottom of the bottom and the top of the pocket. So let's see, I wrote down. To do the bar tacks, you're going to want to do a width of 2 with a length of 1/4. And they're not very long, but they're just to keep the pocket in place. And so you're going to push the pocket towards the front. This is the front. Push the pocket towards the front, and then just right at the top and the bottom, do 2 little lines of stitching on both sides. Okay, so now the bar tacks are sewn in, and they just look like this at the top and the bottom of the pocket, and it really helps the pocket lay nice and flat. So now we're going to set this part aside, and we're going to work on the sleeves. So we need to do darts again. On the back sleeve on your pattern piece, there is a point for dart. So again, I just marked the two edges of the dart and then the inside point. And it just looks like this. And you're going to sew from here all the way to the center. And then after you've done that, you can cut it open and press if you want. My material isn't super, super thick right there, so I didn't worry about that. And then after you've done that, you're going to go ahead and sew it to the front sleeve. And so here's the dart you see. And I sewed it to the front sleeve with the curve in the middle, and then you're just matching up the notches as you go down. And then after you're done doing that, you can turn it over and open up the seam allowance and then just go ahead and press that flat all the way down. Okay, so now you're going to attach the stay tape to the underarm part of your main piece. So you have the stay tape and you're just going to start pinning it all the way down and back up the other side. And then you're going to stitch it with a 1/2 inch seam allowance, so it's just right inside of your regular seam allowance that you've been using. And it's just going to look like this when that's done. And then as soon as you've finished attaching the stay tape, we're going to go ahead and attach the sleeves. So you're going to do right sides together. Remember that the back sleeve is the one with the dart in it, so make sure that that is on the same side as the back bodice. And then just go ahead and pin that all the way down, and then you're going to sew those together from the bodice side. Just really be careful that you're not stretching, because not all of the pattern pieces are completely covered in interfacing, so they will stretch out and it will lose its shape a little bit. So just be careful you're not letting it hang or do anything like that as you're attaching it. Alright, it's finally starting to look like a coat. So we have both of the sleeves attached now, and now we're going to top stitch along the shoulder. So on your pattern piece, you'll see that it has markings in these little bubbles, and that's where your top stitching is going to end. So if you didn't mark this spot on your fabric, go ahead and do that now. And then I just marked it with a pin. And now we are going to top stitch down on the sleeve side, 3/8 of an inch in, down, and then at where the little marking is, you're going to angle it in towards the seam. So it's just going to go down, 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 and then in towards the seam. And you're going to do that 4 times on all sides of the sleeves. Alright, so the last step in the sleeve construction is to put right sides together, and then you're going to pin up the shoulder seam. So I went ahead and pinned it. You can see here, here's the sleeve, all the way down to the end. And then I did that on both sides. And you could go ahead and stitch. All right, so now we're going to attach stay tape to the collar. You'll see here, I just pinned it all the way through the collar, or through the neck of the main piece, and then stitched it with a 1/2 inch seam allowance. And if you don't have any stay tape, you can use hem tape, or you could just stitch a 1/2 inch in. And that's just to help it keep its shape. And so then when you're done with that, we're going to go ahead and attach the collar piece. You'll see on the collar there is 1 notch, and the notch is for the center back. So go ahead and match those up. You see right here, and then work it all the way around, pinning as you go. Okay, so now we're going to be assembling the facings. We're going to take this 1/2 circle one, and then these 2, and we're going to attach the sides of the bigger pieces with the 1/2 circle. So you're just going to do right sides together, and then pin this. Do you like my interfacing job? It was definitely very pieced. So then you're going to pin these together, sew it on both sides, and then you're going to press the seam allowance open and flat. There, so it will just sit like that. Perfect.